Hey YouTube, today I'm just making some hamburgers right now, and I had a minute here in solitary, and I wanted to discuss a movie I watched, a review. I don't normally do movie reviews, but it was video game related, and it was very disappointing. It was not anything like what I expected when I first heard of the Indiegogo campaign. Um, Once I saw the first trailer, my expectations for the movie immediately dropped, and it's the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. You know, I've seen reviews of his that have been there's been reviews that I've seen that have been very existential. Reviews like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Um, there's just been some cinematic gold from James over the years. With like the Bible videos. I know those were wildly popular. There's just really too many of his videos to count, and that's why he became a fan favorite, and that's why he became internet famous, at least. But the video game nerd movie costed what, approximately $325,000, $350,000 to make, and it was entirely crowdsourced from Indiegogo. And you know, I don't want to go there, but I mean that's the same amount of money that's the same budget, at least I believe, that Napoleon Dynamite had. Clerks, I think, had a budget a tenth of that size, at least, probably. And you know, they didn't have practical effects, any CGI or anything like that. It was just pure comedic effect. I mean, there was no special effects in those movies, and but that's no excuse anyway. That's no excuse for bad acting. I mean, acting comes first. I mean, if you got to take money out of your special effects budget to fix the acting, the rigid dialogue, you need to do that. There are some very annoying characters in the AVGN movie. For one, you got Token. I don't know what his real name, what his character. He was completely forgettable. Never once seen in the show, and he turns out he's the nerd's best friend. I mean, I don't have any idea what that's about. You know, if anybody was going to be side by side with the nerd throughout this whole process, it should have been Mike. Mike should have had a much bigger role in this movie. I mean, he had one unspoken cameo in this flick, and then let's see what else was wrong with it. Now the girl Mandy, she wasn't half bad. I mean, she has some acting experience in soap operas and stuff like that. So I mean, I guess that's where she's built up some of her acting chops. But some of those characters in it just they were very cringeworthy. Characters like the boss at the Game Cops video store. He was terrible. He was terrible. And then General Dark Onward, I believe his name was. He was the most annoying character in the entire movie, even more annoying than the boss at the video game store. And there was just so much unnecessary stuff in this movie. It was like it wasn't even trying to be an episode, like the meat and potatoes of an episode of the Video Game Nerd. It was trying to be what comes after the video with like the Super Mecha Death Christ or something like that, where it's just purely special effects and stuff. I mean, the practical effects, they were all right. I didn't mind the special effects, but it was, some of it was done kind of, there was some room for improvement. Some of the miniatures should have been filmed with high-speed cameras, which they were not. And so you can obviously tell it's a small scale. But I'm not even complaining about the special effects. I mean, there was completely unnecessary stuff in this movie. Like what fans were expecting, for older fans at least, were expecting a movie that dealt with maybe the nerd growing up, the nerd realizing he's 35 years old and works at a video game store and needs to do something else. No, the entire movie revolves around such a simple idea as to whether or not he should review E.T. That's the most that the nerd has going on in his life, and it really makes the movie feel superficial. That was the main complaint that I had, and this is purely off the cuff reviewing here, so I apologize about that ahead of time. But I mean, it's not the movie that fans wanted. The movie that we got instead was a movie that was made for, like, it seems like it was made for a 12-year-old that just wanted to hear jokes about tits and then hearing curse words, and that's really that's if the movie was made for 12-year-olds, it was perfect. That's exactly what they got. For people that grew up with the series, and I'm not one of them. I'm like James's age, so I'm in my 30s as well. The movie was not for me. I did a special cut of the movie because I like to edit videos, which he should have hired me on as an editor, I tell you, because I was able to cut that movie. I was able to trim the fat and make it like an hour and 25 minutes, and it was then finally watchable. This movie has a runtime of like 2 hours, and it's just completely unnecessarily long. We got a boss at the video game store that pulls a gun. Why? I have no idea. We have a doctor in the movie that could have been entirely eliminated. Whole subplot about that could have been cut out, with a house that's booby-trapped that looks like a video game for no explanation. We have the evil henchman that is just losing arms and limbs in the movie for comedic effect, and if we wanted to have some sort of suspense in the movie, James would have just taken a cue from Inspector Gadget and made this guy like a faceless, evil henchman like Dr. Claw was. Instead, we got this really bad acting wooden villain that we see, I guess, in the first 45 minutes of the movie. So, and then and the explanation for the giant robot at the end was it was piss poor, basically. We have some scene where Token knows about that Santa's real, the Earth is flat, and then there's some giant robot hidden under Mount Fuji. Why would he know this? There's no explanation for that. I get B movies. I understand James has an affinity to B movies, but that's James. The nerd movie should have been like a serious movie. Like, we've done the review. He has like a glowing review about The Wizard, right? All you want to see is the games and everything, and then he makes this movie and he completely ignores his own advice. He should have taken his own prescription, because that's what we wanted to see. We want to see the nerd maybe reviewing games, or growing up maybe realizing, man, I need something more than this. And we didn't want to see a bunch of newcomers to the show. If the script, I don't know how long ago the script was written, but it was just very wooden, rigid, and the script did not accommodate. Maybe the reason Mike wasn't in it is because most of the filming took place in LA. Well, then maybe they should have just reworked the script. There was no reason to film this movie in Los Angeles. They could have just as easily made a better movie based in Pennsylvania, where the nerd show is based. I really hope that James or Mike hears this review, or any of the other number of complaints. I mean, if you go over to IMDb, they've got pages and pages of people that are just hammering the same thoughts that I am in this video, because we all feel the same way about it, at least us grown-ups that watch the movie. This is this is comparable to Uwe Boll flick, and that's, I really hate to put James in that category, because this is like the level of work that you would expect for Uwe Boll, maybe on a higher budget, and Uwe Boll will still deliver this crap. But James, we wanted more from you. If you do get a chance, I know you've made short films on shoestring budgets, please make a nerd movie that is even if you don't have any special shots in it or anything, we just want to see a 30-minute short of the nerd realizing, man, what did I do with myself? At least maybe when you go to retire the nerd, if ever, I don't picture the nerd with a beer gut, with with a bald hairline, and we need to see. Hold on a second. Let's go ahead and close this real quick. But yeah, we really need to see more than what that movie was. That was like a movie for middle schoolers, and middle schoolers whose parents aren't, giving a shit if they're listening to F-bombs being dropped just for no reason. Simulated dry humping. I mean, this movie seems like it was made for kids by kids. It's James. You're my age, man. You're older than me, as a matter of fact. You and Mike, I believe. I'm 32. I expect a little bit more out of y'all as far as filmmaking. I mean, there's been great directors that have filmed movies for less money that have been critically acclaimed. And so, I mean, take this message to heart. I just wanted to see something better than that. After 2 years, all of the, the hype from Cinemassacre, and I still watch your videos recently, so I'm still contributing to your ad revenue. So, I understand I probably won't get a reply from you on this, but if you agree with me, anybody else watching this, please leave a comment. And that's it. That's it. If I have any supplementing information, I'll make sure to post it. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching.